So today, mostly in this first class, we all got introduced and looked at the context for the class. So mostly today, at least, we'll just revise what we have studied. L1. Hope you all remember. If not, we can just revise it quickly. The last class we referred to this Sanskrita Bodhini book, and it will cover like regular L1 topics like Samipa, Dura, Linga, Kakyam, etc. All this, and Asti, Nasti, and Atra, Kutra, Vachanam, Ekavachana, Bhavachana, right? And all the Vibhaktis, Vibhakti Prayoga of Namapada and Kriyapada. Kriyapada also we looked at Vartamana Kala and Bhutakala in terms of mostly Bhutakala we form in the sense that Tavata Pratyaya, Gatavan, Gatavati, all those things we studied, and Lot Lakara like Ajna Prarthana, like Bhavatu, etc. So these topics we studied, and some of the uses of Shigram, Mandam, Katham, Saptasya, Dhanani, etc. we also studied. Sankhyaha, Yatra, Tatra, Yatha, Tatha. Okay. Anything, any of these topics, do you think you're not familiar with? How many? Let's start with Kima Sharda. How many genders are there in Sanskritam? How many lingas? Ma Sharda?
3, sir. 3.
Yeah, which are they?
Oh, Strilingam, Pulingam, and I don't remember the word for neutral.
Napunsakalingam.
Napunsakalingam.
Pullingam, Strilingam, Napunsakalingam. So can you give an example of a word with the Pullingam?
Rama.
Yes, Rama. Rama is a Pullinga word. Okay. Shubhashri Bhagini, any example, any other example with the Pullinga?
Balakaha.
Balakaha. Uttam. Any example with the Strilingam?
Lata.
Lata. Good. Napunsakalingam?
Phalam.
Phalam. Okay. Bhavuttamam. Good. Rajwala Mahodaya. What are these Kaha, Ka, Kim? What do they represent?
These are what or sorry, whom, who, to question.
Yeah, what, who, right? Kaha is Pullingam, Ka is Strilingam, Kim Napunsakalingam. Okay?
Yes.
Yeah. So can you form a sentence with Kaha?
I cannot think of anything right now. Sorry.
You can form it like Kaha Balakaha, right? Balakaha. Kaha Balakaha asti.
Kaha Balakaha asti. Kaha Kim Pustakam asti. Then Kaha. Sorry.
Yeah. Ka.
And Ka Balika asti.
Yeah, so Kaha Balakaha asti, Kim Pustakam asti, Ka Balika asti. So what is the reason for changing this Kaha? What is the reason for using Kaha with Balakaha, Ka with Balika, Kim with Pustakam?
So Kaha is Pullinga, and then Balaka is also Pullinga, and Kim is new Napumsakalinga Shabda, and then so is Pustakam, Pustaka. And then, yeah, so Balika and Ka both are Strilinga. So the gender should match between this Ka, Kim, and then the thing that they are referring to.
Right. So Kaha, gender should match because one is adjective, qualifier, other one is the qualified. So in case of Kim Pustakam, Kim is the adjective which is in Sanskritam called Visheshanam, and the other one Pustakam is called Visheshyam. So there are two parts, right? Visheshanam, Visheshyam. I write it here. Adjective is Visheshanam and Visheshyam. So the gender should match between Visheshanam and Visheshyam. Whatever is the gender of Visheshyam, Visheshanam should also have the same gender. And not only that, it should also have the same, one is gender means lingam. What else it should have?
The same vibhakti and the same vachana.
Vibhakti and vachana. Vachanam. Vibhakti, vachanam. So this lingam, vibhakti, vachanam, samanam bhavati. When it is vishesham and vishesham is the main word here. Yatha balakah is there. Balaha or bal. Can you say balaha? Balaha. Visheshanam becomes kaha is there. What could be the other visheshanam? Example. Neela Bhagini. Balaha. Visheshanam. What could be the other visheshanam for balaha?
Kim? I didn't follow.
No, what? So like balaha is the vishesham, or one just say one word, namapadam. So what could be the visheshanam for balaha, adjective for balaha? Can you use a different word for as a visheshanam for balaha?
Chatraha?
Chatraha, could be, but balaha, like what could be is guna, one of the characters of bala.
Unnata?
Unnataha.
Unnataha.
So because unnata, now unnata being an adjective, the base word is unnata. Base word is called, in Sanskritam, base word is called
Unnata.
It's technical or a grammatical word for unnata, or a base word is for a namapada. Base word is called
Pratipadikam.
Pratipadikam. So now as we get into level 2, we are going to refer to these grammatical terms with their proper terms, not just like base word or adjectives. We'll use Sanskrit words for them, so everybody we understand, we are on the same page. When you say pratipadikam, we should understand that it is the moola rupam, base form of a namapadam. Often what namapadam is called noun, right? The original or the base form of a noun is in Sanskritam is called pratipadikam. So here in this case, pratipadikam of unnata word is unnata. And what is the pratipadikam of bala?
Bala.
Bala only. Balaha is Bala. Sorry. Balaha is Bala. Pratipadikam of Unnatah is Unnata. Pratipadikam of Balaha is Bala. Now, if Vishesham is Balaha, what is the Lingam Vibhakti Vachanam of Balaha?
Prathama Vibhakti.
And Lingam?
Pullingam.
Vachanam?
Vachanam.
Ekavachanam, Dvivachanam or Bahuvachanam?
Ekavachanam.
Ekavachanam. So now Visheshanam should also be in the qualifier, adjective for that word also should be in the same Lingam Vibhakti Vachanam. So Unnata also we are to convert that to same Linga Vachanam. So what is that? No.
Unnataha.
Unnataha. Because the Lingam, Pullingam, Vibhakti, Prathama Vibhakti, Vachanam, Ekavachanam. Unnataha Balaha. So if it is Dvitiya Vibhakti of Bala, what will the form?
Unnatam.
And the Dvitiya Vibhakti of Bala?
Balam.
Dvitiya Vibhakti Ekavachanam Balam iti bhavati. So to match that we have Unnatam here. Unnatam Balam. So if you want to make the full sentence, we can say Unnatam Balam Pashyami, Unnatam Balam Nayami, etc. So Pratipadikam, Visheshanam, Visheshyam. So these are the grammatical terms to remember right now. Now, similar other examples here is, suppose we have Bala as the Strilinga Prathama Vibhakti Ekavachana word. What is the Pratipadikam of Bala word?
It will be Bala. Bala.
Bala. Then Pratipadika Bala, and if it is Visheshanam Bhavati, Unnata, if you want to add as a Visheshanam, then what will be the word for Bala?
Unnata.
Unnata.
Bala Unnata.
Bala Unnata Asti.
Asti.
So that is a full sentence. So Unnata iti Visheshanam Padam Akaranta Strilinga Ekavachana Padam Unnata ityapi. Now if you ask Pratipadikam, what is the Pratipadikam of Unnata? What is the Pratipadikam of Unnata now?
Unnata.
Unnata only. Unnata is the Pratipadikam of Unnata. So Ekavachana, Prathama Vibhakti Ekavachana form is same in this case as Pratipadikam, same as the Pratipadikam. Pratipadikam api Unnata, Akaranta, Strilinga, Padam, Unnata, Anantaram tasya Prathama Vibhakti Ekavachana Rupam api Unnata ityeva bhavati. Similarly, Bala also. So, other examples of Strilinga would be Nadi, Dirgha Ikaranta, right? Nadi, Parvati, etc. So these are also Prathama Vibhakti Ekavachana. They would be same form as the Pratipadikam. Now, I'll point you to some of the resources which you can use, which will be useful for our purpose. So most of you already know this. I was expecting some couple of new people here, but they're not up here today. So the classes will be available. Recording and homework links will be available on this page, which you already know before. And then for the resources, This one is not loading up. Okay, so yeah. So on the top you will see, which you most of it you know already. Anyway, those things you can see later. Now the mainly here, which will be useful on the Shabda Rupani, which is on this grammar tab, which will be referring to many times. Here, Namapada Rupani, these are online available here, but there are many books are also available. You can buy a book. They're also available on other websites. Refer to them if you want to. This Akka. So here, what is happening? Namapada Rupani, noun forms. Again, just to remind you, there are only two types of, grammatically, there are only two types of words in Sanskrit language. Now, when we say grammatically, we are referring to particularly Panini's Ashtadhyayi grammar system. Now, there are other grammar systems also other than Panini. There were many other grammar systems before Panini's Ashtadhyayi. And after that also there are few other grammar systems are there. But the most popular one is Panini's Ashtadhyayi. So we'll stick to that. Whenever we say in Sanskrit grammar, that means as per Panini's grammar system. So in other grammar systems, there could be different structure, and there could be different terminologies. What we say, this Pratipadikam, Namapadam, etc. There could be different terminologies, but as far as Panini's system goes, these are the things. These are the types of words and how they are classified, how they are grouped, how the Kriyapadas are grouped, how they are named, the technical terms, and how they are bound by his Ashtadhyayi Sutras. So, as per that, there are totally only two types of Sanskrit, words in Sanskrit language, entire language. So the one type is Namapadam. It's called Namapadam. Other type is Kriyapadam. Only two types. So Namapadam and Kriyapadam, they are also called Ajanta. Not Ajanta. What is it called?
Subanta.
Subanta Padani. Subantam. And Kriyapada are called Tinganta.
Tigantam.
Subanta and Tiganta. Why? Because in Ashtadhyayi, he is defined, Panini has defined, certain, his structure is clear. So he in the grammar, his structure, he puts the base of the word and a pratyaya. This is the basic structure to form a word, a usable word in the grammar. Usable word in the sense all the words which are used in the Sanskrit literature or sentences, any word you take, so that word grammatically, okay, give me a second. Then some. Kshamyatam. So the structure grammatically to form any word in grammar, to arrive at the usable word, usable word form, the structure is simple in the sense the approach is simple. Approach is same. You take whether it is a namapada or a noun or kriyapada. So it is divided into two parts. The one you take the base form, the other then you put a pratyaya. Now this pratyaya, what is the base form and what is the pratyaya? This is the study of grammar basically. How to form a word which is already in use, The grammar doesn't form new words in a sense. What it does is it supports how to form the word which is in use in the language. So if you take all these words, like any word which is in the sense Ramaha, Vanam Gacchati, or Krishnaha, Kridati, any sentence you take, it contains words. So the basic unit in a language is a sentence, correct? So without sentence, what is the language? Basically to express your thoughts, to communicate your thoughts from you to some other person. So one person to another person. So this is that is a language. In the language, to communicate, the basic unit of communication is a sentence. So without a sentence, complete idea cannot be communicated. Now that a sentence and the communication using the sentence, that's a whole different branch of study in the language. But just for our understanding, the basic unit of communication is a sentence. Suppose in Sanskritam, if I say just Rama or Ramena, Ramam, it doesn't mean anything. Or Karoti, Karomi. The word means something, but it doesn't convey purposefully what is going to happen or what is happening. So a sentence is needed. So in the sentence or vakyam, so in this Sanskritam sentence we call vakyam. So we call vakyam is necessary to convey the meaning. And then in a vakyam, as I give the example now, karoti, karomi, dhavami. So these most of the times, or technically, as we take if you are talking grammatically, it doesn't make a full sentence. If I say even Rama, Ramena, doesn't mean a full sentence. A sentence, vakyam, should have a namapadam and a kriyapadam. A kriyapadam is a must and a namapadam supporting it. Sometimes namapadam or even a kriyapadam, even if they are not used, if they are not seen, not heard, then it can be assumed, but they are still there, even with the assumption. So technically, namapadam and kriyapadam, they are necessary for a vakyam. So Ramaha, if I say Ramaha or Rukshaha, Rukshaha is a tree. In Sanskrit, in English, if you say just tree, the word means something, but what is it? Tree is there, right? Tree is there. A tree exists. That meaning can be extracted from there. So in Sanskritam, if I say Rukshaha asti, the asti is understood or assumed. So similarly, if I say Dhavami itself indicates, because of its form, Dhavami, which is in Prathama Purusha, Ekavachana. So it means I am running. so that I is understood because dhavami itself, because of the form. But even then, I, aham, is tagged along with that, dhavami. So, from the basic unit of sentence, which again can be divided into or contains namapada and kriyapada. Kriyapada, which refers to a word. Kriyapada is referring to a word which indicates an action. Right? Action performed by whom? By the subject, by somebody. So, one, the kriyapadam, for example, you take, so kriyapada refers to kriya and namapada refers to noun or nama or something which is doing the kriya. Now, in this example, let's say Bala Bhavati. So this is the sentence in the language, in Sanskrit Bhasha. Now, Bhavati, how is it formed? Now, that is the job of grammar or Vyakaranam. So it has to come up with a way or a structure to support the formation of this Bhavati. Why it should do that? What is the need of this grammar? Because to keep a discipline for the language, so that anybody, like in any way, they should not be keep on twisting the normal usage over a long period of time. There could be some changes, but generally speaking, it puts a structure or discipline around the language or the usage, so that anybody, especially who are new or who do not understand the language, or coming from studying it, so it should not undergo too many variations. So in case of Bhavati, Paniniya system puts this Bhavati as a splits into two. That one, it's called the base form in this, and the other is pratyaya. Right? The base form is called dhatu here. Dhatu. Dhatuhu. This is the base form, and pratyaya again. So we are going to add a pratyaya. Pratyaya. So dhatuhu in this case, in this example, is dhav, and pratyaya we want to add some pratyaya. And now again, coming to Paniniya system, he defines a process. Right? Process, or in grammatical balance is called prakriya. Prakriya or steps, process. From dhatu and adding a pratyaya, it undergoes some steps, and then finally it reaches this dhavati. It is not just saying that dhava and then you add ati, then it becomes dhavati. And then similarly, if it is a bahuvachanam, balaha dhavanti. So dhavanti, how does dhavanti has to be derived? Again, start with the dhatu, dhav, and then add anti. This is simple. And then I can also write a grammar or system, right? Like something like ashtadhyayi. So if it is so simple, I can just say, hey, add dhava, take the dhatu and add ati, it becomes dhavati. So prathama vibhakti, vartamana kala, ekavachana. If it is dhavati, dhav plus ati. I can make a sutra for this. Right? It's easy for me also, anybody. Dhav plus ati, I can form a sutra for to come to this form of Vartamana Kala, Shruti, what is it called? Prathama Purusha, Ekavachanam. Right? So it's called Dhavati. And Prathama Purusha, Bahuvachanam, Dhavanti, Dhatu plus Anti. I can write another sutra for that, a rule for that. And then for each of the forms, I can write a sutra. Dhavati, Dhavanti, Dhavati, Dhavataha, Dhavanti, Dhavasi, Dhavatha, Dhavata. So all the forms are there in Vartamana Kala. All the forms are there in Bhuta Kala. All the forms are there in Bhavishyat Kala, etc. So I can write sutra rule for each and every Rupam, form. Not only Dhav, for any other Kriyapada also, like Gacchati, Gacchata, Gacchanti, etc. I can write that, but then what? It is just a collection of all the forms available in the Sanskrit language. So that it's just a collection. It doesn't become a concise. Yeah? So what Panini has done, that is the smartness of Panini, right? Panini has done that. He has tried his best to make it concise and simple also in terms of memorizing, understand, because in those times memorization was important, right? Because if you in this about 4,000 sutras, if we can capture or condense all the rules, are the rules which can be applied to the entire corpus of the Sanskrit words, then it will be great. So mostly he has succeeded in that. There are some exceptions here and there, but they are all covered by other supplementary sutras called Vartikas. So in just 4,000 sutras, he has managed not only this Kriyapada, steps to arrive at Kriyapada, all the Kriyapadas, for all the Kalas, all the Vachanas, all the Purushas, not only that, all the Namapadas also, of all the types of Namapadas, not only Akaranta ending in A, Bala, Rama, etc., Krishna, but not only that, any Namapada you take in the Sanskrit language, any Rupa, how to arrive at that. And then not only these Namapada, Kriyapada forms, then there are Sandhi rules, right? Sandhi rules are there, Samasa rules are there, and Kriyapada themselves are a very big topic. Not only Kalas, but there are other secondary derivatives are there with these Kriyapadas, and Sandhis are there, and Samasas are there, Karakas are there. So many different topics are there. So everything he has condensed within just about less than 4,000 sutras. So the basic structure or approach remains same in case of Namapada and Kriyapada also in the grammar here. So we take, what he does is, if you take any Namapada, there is a base form which is called Pratipadikam in case of Namapadam. Right? So what happens in case of Namapadam in a Bala, the base becomes, the Pratipadikam is Bala. And then we add a Pratyaya. So what is the Pratyaya? So he has followed this methodology that, let's say, to derive a final form of Namapadam, so whether it could be Balaha, Balena, Balaha, etc. So we start with this step, let's say Pratipadikam and Pratyaya. Then Pratipadikam, then we go through different steps in the Prakriya. So what kind of Pratyaya has to be added? So initially you start with this top level group of Pratyayas. So for all the Namapadas, he defines a set of 21 pratyayas which are called supratyayas. Supratyayas. Why 21? Why are there 21? Suresh Mother? Huh?
There are 7 vibhaktis and 3 vachanas.
Samichanam. So if you take any word here, any word. So any word in Sanskrit language has this kind of different forms, right? Rupani. So Prathama Vibhakti to Saptami Vibhakti and 3 vachanas. Any Namapada. Okay? Any word means any Namapada has this kind of forms. Prathama to Saptami Vibhakti and 3 vachanas. So there are 21, so 3 into 7. Actually, if you see, there are 8, but Sambodhanam is part of is a subset of Prathama Vibhakti. So that's not considered as a separate Vibhakti. So Prathama to Saptami 7, and there are 3 columns, one each for Vachana, so that 21 total forms. So we have 21. There are 21 forms. So for each of these form, he first defines a top level pratyaya. What is pratyaya? Pratyaya is a suffix, okay? Or sometimes called also affix, which is added to pratipadikam, and then it undergoes certain steps to finally arrive at one of these forms, one of those 21 forms. At the top level, there are 21 pratyayas. So one for each of those places. 21 places are there, right? 21 cells or places. So for each one, there is a pratyaya, starting with su, aujas, etc. So we are not going to study how to derive it. So the derivation or prakriya study is the study of Ashtadhyayi, grammar. So that's different branch. But this is the basic structure, and that base one, the Pratipadikam itself, if you can see here, so how it is referred to as Ikaranta Strilinga Nadi Shabdaha. This Nadi is the Pratipadikam here. Nadi is the Pratipadikam, right? Nadi is the Pratipadikam. So that Pratipadikam, we refer to it as Ikaranta Strilinga Pratipadika Shabdaha Nadi. Similarly, if you see here at the bottom here, Ikaranta Strilinga Lakshmi Shabdaha. Lakshmi is the Pratipadikam, and what are its characters? Its characters are Tasya Lakshanani. Padasya Lakshanani Kani. Strilinga Padam. Lakshmi is the Strilinga. The Pratipadikam has a lingam, and it is ending in the E sound, Dirgha E sound. So Ikara. Kara means it is sound. It's ending in a Ikara. Lakshmi. Similarly, we have Nadi, and similarly Mati. So this one, Mati, has a it is a Pratipadikam, and what are its characters? It is a Strilingam, and it is ending in the Rasva Ikara, Rasva I sound. Similarly, we have also Rama, Akaranta, Strilinga, Rama Shabdaha. Rama is Pratipadikam. Its characters are, it's ending in A, and it has a lingam, Strilingam. So all the Pratipadikam, they have these characters. One is linga, and in what sound it is ending, that Pratipadikam. And then to that pratipadikam we add a pratyaya which is specific to that place. So if you want to derive, let's say tritiya vibhakti bahuvachanam, okay? So we add a specific pratyaya to this nadi shabda, nadi pratipadikam, and we go through certain steps, and then as per the Ashtadhyayi sutras, and then finally it comes to Naridhi. So that is the process which is followed by Ashtadhyayi. And similarly with the dhatu also. Okay. Note that, coming back to this Namapadam, note that whether it is a Pullinga Shabda, Strilinga Shabda, Napunsakalinga, Pratipadikam, it doesn't matter. So if you, as per the Ashtadhyayi, if we have to derive a certain form of any, like Chaturthi, for example, Prathama Vibhakti Bahuvachanam. Okay. So Ashtadhyayi defines the 21 pratyas. So first Prathama Vibhakti it says Su pratyaya, and the next one is Au, and the last one is Bahuvachana Prathama Vibhakti is Su Au, just. This is just. So whether it is Pratipadikam could be Pullinga, Strilinga, Napunsakalinga, but we start with these, the Prakriya starts with the same step. For example, whether it is Nadi, or Bala, or whether it is Rama, or even in Napunsakalinga, which are ending in the Vyanjana, like Jagat, Gunin, any other Pratipadikam also if you take, doesn't matter. We start with the same step first. Add one of these pratyayas. If you want to come to this form, we will start with just, and then it goes through different steps, and finally it comes to Nadhyaha form. But when we add just to Balaha, then it goes through a different other steps, and then it comes to Balaha only. Okay? Balaha, because we are referring to Pullinga there. Pullinga Prathama Vibhakti Bahuvachanam. For that, the sutras they could be different, slightly different, and when we follow those sutra steps, then we come to this final form. Similarly, for Nadi Shabda and these type of Shabdas, we follow certain sutras, and finally we come to this form, Nadhyaha. So that is the general structure followed by Ashtadhyayi. And similarly for the dhatus also. In case of Bhavati, you start with Dhava, and then the top levels pratyayas for Kriyapadas, they are called Ting Pratyaya. So Ting Pratyaya is a set of 18 pratyayas. So 9 pratyayas are for Parasmapadi and 9 pratyayas for Atmanepadi dhatus. So there are two types of dhatus. The dhatu vijnanam, or the science of dhatus, is a very vast topic again. At the high level, but it's good to know. It's important to know also. It's a little bit at a high level. So let's go through that quickly. Where is it? Yeah. So dhatus in English sometimes they are called verb roots, not verbs, verb roots. The final form is called verbs like Bhavati, Gacchati, etc. But the root, verb root or the root, they are dhatu. So dhatus are classified in different ways. One of the types of classification itself is like this: Parasmapadi dhatu and Atmanepadi dhatu. Now, on the top here you see dhatu gana. We'll see what is dhatu gana later. But first let's focus on this parasmaipadi, atmanepadi. So based on the form of the final form of kriyapada, they are put either in parasmaipada type. Dhatu is classified as a parasmaipada type or atmanepada type or ubhayapada type also. Some of the dhatus that take both the forms. We'll take an example here. So you take, let's say, the simplest one is the last one here, puj dhatu, right? Or in kru, let's take kru. Kru is kru, kri you see here. Kri. Here also dhatu kri is there, here also dhatu kri is there. That means this is ubhayapadi. It can take both the forms. So here kru is also taking both the forms. That is also ubhayapadi. But da also ubhayapadi. But here you see bhu. Bhu is parasmaipadi dhatu. Vand is atmanepadi dhatu. So let's take this example here. Bhu. If you take bhu example here if you see lat lakara means vartamana kala. In vartamana kala, how does the form look like? It looks like bhavati, bhavataha, bhavanti. Right? Bhavasi, bhavataha, bhavata. But if you take vanda, same vartamana kala, if somebody doesn't know Sanskritam, is looking for if he just looks at the bhavati, suryodaya bhavati, so we know that somebody knows that, and if he just say how does vanda, what will be the vanda in vartamana kala prathama vibhakti, he might say vandati, because looking at bhavati, doesn't it look like bhavati, vandati? So, but the actual form of vanda in vartamana kala would be vandate, not vandati. So this vanda dhatu, because of it takes this kind of form, at least in looking at the vartamana kala we know. In other kalas also, bhuta kala, the forms will be different. But at least looking at the vartamana kala, we know that it doesn't become vandati, it becomes vandate. So this form, the dhatus which take this type of forms, rupas, they are put into atmanepadi. Atmanepadi is the visheshanam for the dhatu. It's actually atmanepada. Pada means type of word, you can say. The type of classification is atmanepada, and when it becomes vishesham to dhatu, it's called atmanepadi dhatuhu. Similarly, parasmaipadi dhatuhu asti bhu iti. So that's why it's rupa in latlakara, they look like bhavati, bhavataha, bhavanti. In atmanepadi it becomes vandate, vandete, vandante, like this. Right? So some of them are ubhayapadi. If you take kru dhatu, let's say you take kru dhatu. So in kru dhatu, ubhayapadi, so it could be in parasmaya pada rupa also, or it could be in the atmanepada rupa also. If it is in parasmaya pada rupa, it will be like this: karoti, kurutaha, kurvanti, etc. So, which appears like bhavati. At least the ending appears like similar, like ti, taha, anti, karoti, kurutaha, kurvanti, like that. And similarly, if you go to, let's say, kru, kurute, kurvate, kurvate. So this somewhat looks like vandate, right? Vandate, vandete, vandante. So there is, last one is non-te, but still there is a te there. Okay? Kurute, kurvate, kurvate. So these kind of forms, dhatus which are these kind of forms, they are put in the atmanepadi classified. Now, so coming back to the ting pratyaya, which is added to dhatu, Ashtadhyayi defines them as 18 basic ting pratyayas. So 9 for Parasmapade and 9 for Atmanepada. Why 9? Again, because there are, as you see here, there are 9 forms for each of the kalas, right? Each lakara actually. Each lakara, Vartamana kala is lat lakara, Bhuta kala is lang lakara, and so on. So each lakara, there are 9 forms. So horizontal line is called here Purusha, Pratama Purusha, Madhyama Purusha, Uttama Purusha, and vertical line is called Vachana. So 9 forms. So each form gets a pratyaya. So Atmanepadi dhatu or Parasmapadi dhatu. So the pratyayas are defined separately in Ashtadhyayi. But together the 18 pratyayas are called ting pratyayas. That is a set of pratyayas. So for example, bhu dhatu. So bhu dhatu is there, which is Parasmapadi. Then we add the pratyaya has to be added, right? One of the ting pratyaya has to be added. So whatever dhatu is there, if it is a Parasmapadi dhatu, then it starts with the same set of pratyayas first, irrespective of what lakara it is. Okay? We might want to arrive or derive this lat lakara prathama vibhakti or lang lakara prathama vibhakti or whatever. So it doesn't matter. It starts with the same pratyaya if it is Atmanepadi dhatu. Sorry, Parasmapadi dhatu. Similarly, if it is Atmanepadi dhatu, it starts with the same pratyaya. It doesn't matter what lakara it is. So this is the first step in the Ashtadhyayi Vyakarana, and then it goes through different variations or prakriya, different steps, and depending on the lakara, different sutras are applied, depending on the other factors, different other pratyayas also might come into picture, and finally this form, what the form desired by the language, comes into existence, or it is synthesized. So this is the prakriya in Ashtadhyayi. So you need to keep that in mind. So Subanta is Namapadam and Tinganta is Kriyapadam. Grammatical terms used for these two types of words in Sanskritam. So we studied about, we just touched upon this Pratipadikam Dhatuhu Namapadam Kriyapadam Subantam Tingantam Pratyayah Visheshyam and Visheshanam Vachanam Lingam Vibhakti. We saw that. Any questions so far?
More than one question.
Huh.
What is the Parasmai Pada and Atmani Pada? What's the difference?
Difference, basically, first you have to understand the form. Okay? So for example, this one is Bhavati, right? Bhavati. And if you take Vanda, they look different, right? The Pratama Purusha Ekavachanam for Bhu Dhatu, it looks Bhavati. And if you take the Gam Dhatu, it looks Gachati. So the Dhatus who in their Vartamana Kala, they look similar, like Bhavati, Gachati, Dhavati, Pibati, Nayati. In the L1 class, we have looked at all these kriyapadas, right, which are similar like this. We are not studied or taken any examples of these types of forms. So you don't say vandate, kurdate, etc., vardhate. But these words are also there. These kriyapada forms are also there in Sanskrit language. So these are separated. These are classified into two different groups. The forms which look like this, vandate, etc., they are put under what is called atmane pada type. And the forms which like gacchati, nayati, pibati, khadati, bhavati, dhavati, these are put under the category parasma pada.
Understood. Dhanyawad Mahoday.
But so, why are they called parasma? Why are they called atmanepada? That will come to that a little later. Okay?
So namaste is like the second form of kriyapada.
No, namaste is not a kriyapadam. Elangon Mode, you want to explain what is namaste?
Yes, Mahodaya. Namaste, I think it is avyayam, called as avyayam. Namahate. To you, I bow to you. I bow to you, like that. Namaste. So it is not said as kriyapada.
Yeah. Namaste is not a kriyapada. It's not like vandate, vardhate. It has, namaste has two words, namaha and te. Okay. Here namaha means it's an avyayam. It's a namaha means bowing, and te means this is not the kriyapadam. This te is a namapadam. This te comes from where? Te comes from yushmad. You see yushmad here?
Yushmad bhavati.
Yushmad. So if I open yushmad, where is te? This one, te. So that namaha, namaste has two words, namaha and te from this namapadam te. Te means for you. Or chaturthi, I think, sorry, not shashti. Chaturthi te. Not this. No. So chaturthi also has the te, tubhyam te. So you can say namaha tubhyam. That is also can be said, or you can say namaha te. Namaha te, when combined together as a sandhi, you can pronounce them separately, namaha te. Or if you want to combine them, it becomes sandhi, namas and plus te, namaste. So that is not a kriyapadam. So that is a chaturthi ekavachanam. So when you are doing a pranama to one person, then use namaste or namastubhyam. If you are doing it for two people, use this one, namaha yuvabhyam or namaha vam. Then or multiple people, we have namaha vishpabhyam, namaha vaha. Okay. So just not use namaste for if there are more than one person. Okay.
Dhanyawad.
Mahodaya, can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Visheshyam is usually only a namapadam, right?
it is always a Namapadam. Visheshanam, Visheshyam, both are always Namapadam.
So because you said there are only two forms, even the Visheshanam will come under Namapadam.
Yes. At the top level, there is only two types, Namapadam and Kriyapadam. Right?
Okay.
So Kriyapadams are all these Bhavati, whether it is Vartamana Kala, Bhuta Kala, etc., which look like this, right? Karoti, Karota, and all these are Kriyapadam. Okay?
Yeah, the verbs.
Words like this. And anything else in the language, they are Namapadam. Anything else other than this. Whether it is Vishesham, Visheshanam, Avyayam, anything, they are all under Namapadam.
Okay. So there are only two forms. But then when we talk about it, we call them Visheshanam and Visheshyam. But they come under the broad classification of Namapadam only.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you,
Just as we go further and identify under Namapadam what it is. Is it an Avyayam or is it a Visheshanam? Avyayam can also be Visheshanam, Visheshyam also, but there are different types under Namapadam itself.
Dhanyavad.
Mahoday, one question. Are we going to cover a different book or are we going to go through the same book?
No, not same book. I have given in the email or in the registration form also called Bhasha Pravesha Dvitiya Bhaga, published by Sanskrit Bharati. You can buy it, but it's not necessary. I'm not going to go through that book lesson by lesson. I will be referring to my slides, which will cover topics which are in that book, Bhasha Pravesha Bhaga, Dvitiya Bhaga. Okay. So I'll be covering the similar topics, but using my slides and my preparation notes. And also I'm going to give the homework from my own notes. But you can also, if you have that book, you can also, that also has some good exercises. You can also, when we cover those topics, you can also do those exercises on your own, and then if you want, you can send that to me for reviewing. I think we'll stop here today. So before coming to the next class, from the L1 topics, it doesn't necessarily have to be from this L1 book, but L1 topics, if you have any questions, any doubts, you can come with those questions. We'll quickly go through them, and basically Linga Vachana is fine, Kriyapada is fine, and also we can also revise about something about Sankhyaha. We will again touch base on these a little bit later in the level 2 when we come to Sankhya. But basically you should be familiar with this. But we can also, in the next class, we can go quickly through some of these topics. But when we start studying the level 2 topics, we'll again somewhat come across these topics anyway. But at least I would suggest look through the Shabda Rupani of this Rama, Hari, which Vibhakti Rupani, right? Like Rama, Rama, Rama. It is go through them. Just we revise these. Be familiar with these forms of the basic words like Rama, Hari, and Guru, Ukaranta we have seen before, and Akaranta Strilinga, Rama, Rame, etc. Okay. We'll meet next week again. Thank Thank you. Dhanyavadah. Namaskaraha.
धन्यवादः नमस्कारः
धन्यवादः महोदय.